Part 2. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 11. The poor general manager Wan of Morningstar Company whimpered in his mouth, hoping that the assistant who was guarding outside could connect with him, and rushed in to rescue him from the hands of the female devil in front of him. He didn't dare to shout loudly, because every time he was about to open his mouth to shout, this delicate and beautiful woman in front of him was like a prophet who could not predict, and when he lifted his leg, he kicked him out of his voice. I don't know where this delicate beauty came from so much strength. Manager Wan felt like his bones were about to break. However, there is no such tacit understanding between the assistant and the general manager. The assistant vaguely heard the suppressed voice, but unfortunately, his head was full of peach-colored fantasies, as if he had filled up a 2G yellow waist. Manager Wan's tearful expression made his already ugly face even more tragic. Jin Li closed his eyes in disbelief. She tapped on the table with 2 fingers and couldn't help but said, "Manager Wan, should you? If you shouldn't, I'll really be rude to you." Manager Wan felt bitter in his heart. He was in burning pain all over his body. He cried and said, "Did you be polite to me just now? Jin Li." Manager Wan really regrets it now. His office, originally set up for surveillance, is usually open. But just today, in order to have a vigorous office play with the little beauty, he had some reason to turn off the monitoring. Therefore, it is impossible to live by committing sins. Before Manager Wan could speak, Jin Li continued to speak. What she held in her hand was a thin document, which was the contract between this body, Bai Jin Li, and Chen Xing. Even if Jin Li doesn't know much about the entertainment industry on Earth, at a glance, you can see that this contract is extremely crap. Why did Bai Jin Li agree to sign a contract with Chen Xing? Jin Li no longer wants to pursue it. After all, if a person is stupid, he can break through the imagination of immortals. She just shook the contract in her hand and said lightly, "Manager Wan, look, according to the 2 years in this contract, I will be able to terminate the contract in 2 or 3 months. Your reputation won't bring any benefits to the company, so you should treat it as a good deed, sign the contract termination letter next to it, and let's break up with each other in a friendly manner." Is Manager Wan willing? Of course he doesn't want to. Again. Although Bai Jin Li has a bad reputation and poor acting skills, there are many black materials. But they are so good looking. In the circle, there are middle-aged gold owners who like to play unspoken rules, and those who covet her beauty do not know how many. Even if there are only a few months left, if he sells Bai Jin Li, it will bring huge benefits to Chen Xing. Manager Wan is not reconciled. "I know you're not reconciled," a soft and melodious female voice sounded above his head. Manager Wan raised his head blankly. Jin Li just looked down at him, a strand of mischievous hair fell down and kissed the snow-white cheek. She pinned it behind her ear, pointing like a green onion. How tender and affectionate. The beauty is pulling her hair, but Manager Wan feels that the beauty is pulling her heart. The pain in his body that he had forgotten for a while was fascinated. The next second, the black-haired and snow-skinned beauty hummed. "But why are you not willing to care about me? If you don't agree, I can only continue to beat you until you are willing." Manager Wan. The gentle hallucinations in his mind shattered in an instant. His whole body started to hurt again. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 12. Facing Jin Li's gaze, Manager Wan looked like a poor little boy being bullied by bullies, and his chubby body couldn't help but shrank back. He sniffed and sobbed, "You can't do that. Jin Li, I think you should wake up a bit." Manager Wan was at a loss. What? Jin Li looked disgusted. "A little self-knowledge, your respectful face, showing pity will not have any effect, it will only make me want to hit you more." Manager Wan. "It's illegal for you to do this," he raised his voice, "burning people in private, I want to call the police. What nonsense are you talking about? Jin Lee pointed at himself, confidently. How could I be such a weak, beautiful, and delicate beauty that I can beat you? Manager Wan's eyes darkened. Weak. Jiao Didi? Afraid of a King Kong Barbie? The attack is still to come. Jin Lee raised his chin. Look at yourself, does it look like you've been beaten? What's the meaning? Manager Wan looked down at himself in confusion. At first, he didn't understand what Jin Lee meant, so he rolled up his sleeves. There was nothing but fat on his chubby arms. What about scars? Manager Wan suddenly understood what Jin Lee meant. Even if they call the police themselves, the police can't see that they are injured. He looked at Jin Lee in horror. This woman, is she a devil? Jin Lee seemed to sense his panic and grinned. So, even if I kill you here, the hospital won't be able to find the slightest trace of it. Manager Wan was so scared that he almost wet his pants. Why, is Bai Jin Lee such a person? He sent out a question from his soul. Why did I provoke such a devil? Me. Of course I lied to you. Jin Lee got up, squatted beside Manager Wan, and shook the contract in front of his dull eyes. Manager Wan looked at her habitually, and Jin Lee grinned again. How could a kind and beautiful little fairy like me do such a brutal thing as killing someone? Manager Wan. Isn't that the letter of termination? I sign. The assistant was doing his due diligence outside to count the time for his general manager. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. He couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Mr. Wan is not bad. The sword is not old. The last time it was over in 10 minutes. As he was thinking so, the door opened from the inside. Jin Lee walked out of the office gracefully. The assistant couldn't help but look at her. Huh. The clothes are not messy, not even wrinkled, the hairstyle is perfect, not even the lipstick. It really doesn't look like he has experienced something indescribable. He couldn't help walking forward. Miss Bai. Jin Lee turned her head and glanced at him. Doesn't look good. No interest in chatting. She waved her hand. Go and see President Wan, he seems to be looking for you. Wan always find me. Although I really want to talk to the beauty, the job is obviously more important. The assistant felt sorry in his heart, but walked quickly to the office. As soon as he entered the office, the assistant froze for a moment. I saw that Mr. Wan looked like a salted fish. No, there is no such fat salted fish. I saw Wan Zong lying on his back like a castrated boar, his face pale and only sweating. A look of being ravaged and hollowed out. Lenovo's assistant was startled by Miss Bai's refreshing look just now. Could it be that, just now, it's not President Wan playing Miss Bai, but Miss Bai playing President Wan? President Wan, I announce that your job is gone. Hashtag today's male protagonist was remembered by the brain mother hashtag. Hashtag no hashtag. The new book needs support, and the big babies leave a lot of comments and vote. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiao Zhaji. Chapter 13. The assistant thought he might have discovered something extraordinary. He was even thinking, if he knew about such a terrible thing, the boss wouldn't want to silence it, right? President Wan seems to be thinking about it after the fact. Should he pretend that he doesn't know anything and quit? The poor assistant was hesitating, and Mr. Wan, who was lying on the ground, slowly opened his eyes. At a glance, I saw the assistant standing on the side. This useless wood, standing here doesn't even know how to help me. It was also before, I tried so hard to call for help, but I didn't see him come in to take a look. Useless. President Wan was very dissatisfied. Don't help me up quickly. Assistant. President Wan actually tossed so much that he didn't even have the strength to get up. Miss Bai is really like a wolf, like a tiger. He hurriedly stepped forward and helped President Wan up. I won't go into details about the fact that I hit several Wan Zong's injuries on the way. All in all, Mr. Wan had already bought a plane ticket for his assistant in his heart, and decided to say goodbye to him from tomorrow. And the other side. Jin Lee took the termination contract and walked out of the company in a very good mood. When passing by Sister Ching's office, she went to say hello. Canceling the contract, Sister Ching looked at the things in Jin Lee's hands in surprise. As Bai Jin Lee's agent, how could she not know that this contract will normally expire in 2.5 months? Even President Wan privately called her to the office to discuss it. When that time comes, no matter what means are used, he must coax Bai Jin Lee and Chen Xin to renew the contract. That Wan Poppy, how could he be willing to let the big fat Bai Jin Lee go away? Because President Wan is kind, Jin Lee said with a smile. Sister Cheng. I said that I was useless. Staying in the company is a waste of resources. I don't want to waste any more. President Wan was a little unhappy at first, but I had a simple negotiation with him, and he readily agreed. Sister Cheng. Is this really the same person as Mr. Wan I know? Looking at Sister Ching's shocked expression, Jin Lee breathed a sigh of relief. Sister Ching, from now on, I will not be your artist anymore. We are destined to see you again. Sister Ching looked a little complicated. She took a careful look at Jin Lee and calmed down. You will take care of yourself. Jin Lee responded with a smile and left. In the entire company, the only person who could make her say it on purpose was Sister Cheng. But just after walking out of Morning Star, Jin Lee was stopped by someone. Jin Lee? She looked at the girl in front of her suspiciously. At the age of 17 or 18, he should still be a student in terms of dressing up and temperament, and his face with a little baby fat is full of greenness. Jin Lee, I like you very much. Can you give me an autograph? Her face flushed with excitement, and she couldn't even speak. Jin Lee understood in seconds, this is probably a fan. The girl in front of her had clear eyes, and she looked at Jin Lee with excitement and love in her eyes. Jin Lee didn't hate this kind of gaze, she said cheerfully, yes. Yubi took the pen and photo from the other party's hand. Huh? Photo. It is a still photo of Bai Jin Lee, which is Bai Jin Lee's debut. She plays the most beautiful vase in the world with no more than 3 episodes. It was also that drama that brought her a lot of fans who are still loyal to her today. Jin Lee looked at it carefully, and finally made an evaluation. The shooting is not bad. The girl immediately laughed when she heard the words, and then heard Jin Lee's next sentence. But not as good looking as me. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Su Xiao Zhaji. Chapter 14. Fan? She glanced at Jin Lee blankly. Aren't these stars usually very modest in interviews? Why is Jin Lee so righteous? However, she took a closer look at Jin Lee, and while she was madly sucking in this God-given beauty, she nodded vigorously, that's right. The real Jin Lee is much more beautiful than the pictures. Jin Lee loves hearing this. She signed her name in the blank space on the back of the photo, completely ignoring that her handwriting was different from the previous Bai Jin Lee. She didn't intend to live in the image created by Bai Jin Lee in the past, so why bother pretending to be another person? As for the fans, now that I am completely intoxicated by the beauty of this close-up prosperous world, how can I even look at the signature? Because she was in a good mood, Jin Lee asked very understandingly after signing the autograph, do you need to take a photo together? My God, what a fairy idol. The girl was about to scream, yes. So the two clicked together for a dozen or so pictures, and even posed in different poses. The girl was originally afraid that Jin Lee would be impatient and restrained, but Jin Lee was obviously having a good time. In the end, She held the phone with a happy face and smiled like a lunatic. To say that at the beginning, she was just a superficial ordinary face powder that was a little better than passers-by. So now, she announced that she is going to officially become a fan of Jin Lee. How can there be such a beautiful, cute, kind little fairy in the world? She bowed at Jin Lee and said loudly, "Jin Lee, I will always support you." Jin Lee was about to be polite, but suddenly froze. Because, at the moment when the girl said that sentence, a golden light as thin as a hair radiated from the girl, like a wisp of blue smoke, falling on her body. The Danshan, where the divine power was exhausted, suddenly warmed up. Jin Lee's eyes lit up. Even if it is extremely subtle, compared to her vast divine power, it is only a drop in the bucket, but it still cannot be ignored. After entering her body, that golden light was transformed into divine power. What does that mean? Add up. If she can accumulate enough of this golden light, won't she be able to restore her divine power and return to the heaven? This realization made Jin Lee excited. For the onlookers, the girl originally thought that the real Jin Lee was amazing, but now the whole person seems to be glowing. She couldn't wait to leave at all, and immediately took out her mobile phone and tweeted, "Exquisite Piggy Girl V, it was my first chance to visit the company and I never expected to meet Jin Lee. I am so pretty. The character is also super good. Super laughing and super gentle. It's the little fairy, the fairy. Picture picture picture." She coded herself and put up the group photo she just took. After putting it up, she realized that something was wrong, and turned her head to ask Jin Lee nervously, "Jin Lee, I just posted some of the best photos of our group photo on Weibo, and they are all very good looking photos. Do you mind? If you mind, I'll delete it right away." Jin Lee was stunned for a moment, realizing what the girl said, and shook her head indifferently, I don't mind, I'm so good looking, I should let others see it." When the girl heard this, she couldn't help but burst into laughter. Why didn't she know before that Jin Lee was so upright and cute? "Jin Lee, I boast of my own beauty, it is true. Hashtag did the big pig's hoof appear today hashtag. Hashtag no hashtag. Big darlings, move your little hands and leave claws for Gao Lengzi's votes. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess." Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 15. After saying goodbye to the reluctant fans, Jin Lee returned home with a happy expression. As soon as the door was opened, Enro sat in the living room waiting for her. Because there is hope for a solution to the problem of divine power, Jin Lee is in a very good mood, and even looking at Enro is more pleasing than usual. But it's only one point, Jin Lee didn't look sideways, hummed a little tune out of tune and walked to his bedroom with a brisk pace. Bye Jin Lee. Enro was originally sitting on the sofa waiting for Jin Lee to greet her, but she found that people didn't care about her at all, so she pressed the anger in her heart and took the initiative to call her. Jin Lee paused, "Is something wrong?" Enro frowned slightly and looked worried, "I heard that you terminated the contract with the company." Jin Lee's eyes rolled around Enro's face playfully, and smiled, "I can't tell, you are so well informed." She had just returned from the company, and Enro, who was staying at home, knew the news. You can imagine her connections in the company. Enro did not answer this question, but looked at Jin Lee disapprovingly, "Why did you terminate the contract with the company?" Although Chensing is not a big company, it is very lenient to our artists, and they don't give less resources on weekdays. As she spoke, her face suddenly changed, and she asked tentatively, "Have you already found your next home?" She thought, although this woman has no brains, she has a unique face, and it is normal for other companies to poach people. Jin Lee knew what Enro was thinking, and she answered neatly, "No." Enro breathed a sigh of relief. From the bottom of her heart, she didn't look down on Jin Lee, and felt that she was several times better than the other party in every aspect except for the difference in appearance. If someone even digs Bai Jinli, but she doesn't receive any news, she will not be reconciled anyway. Jinli looked at the woman's self-concealed face change with amusement, waiting for her to continue her performance. Sure enough, Enro immediately put on a face of "I think about you wholeheartedly," and said softly, "Jinli, you have been in this circle for so many years, don't you know that without the company's help? How miserable the end will be for an artist who manages to pull resources. I think you are too impulsive to terminate the contract. Director, he just talked to me about you and said that he is very optimistic about you. If you are willing to continue to renew the contract with Morningstar, I can give you a movie big production." Jinli interrupted her. "I think you think too much." She touched her face, looked at Enro, and said with pity, "For an ordinary-looking person like you, of course there are so many things to consider. But a beautiful fairy like me, even if you are with the company after the contract is terminated, there will be countless places begging me to sign the contract." Enro, where did your confidence come from? With your black stuff? She couldn't help but say, "You." Jinli interrupted her again with a sincere expression, "I know you care about me, well, I understand. But I think you should care more about yourself. Morningstar is a good company, and I wish you will stay here forever. A good company, one road to the end, and the company sinks together." Enro. She was a little dizzy with anger. Good company? This kind of bullshit she is coaxing Jinli to play. She has such a big heart, how could she be attracted to a small company like Morningstar, just using it as a springboard? Who wants to sink with this broken company? Can you speak, Bai Jinli? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 16. Jinli doesn't care if you are angry or not. She glanced at Enro and felt that the other party was very boring. She waved at the person to indicate that she had something to do, and went back to the room. Is there really something wrong with Jinli? Real. She is moving. Not to mention that sharing a room with a roommate like Enro is really short-lived. This apartment was originally the staff dormitory of Morningstar. Since she had terminated her contract with Morningstar, she naturally couldn't live here any longer. Jinli calculated her account balance and felt that she was a little rich woman compared to ordinary people. So she packed her luggage, called a moving company, and sent her directly to a well-known hotel. This had been smooth sailing. It's just that when Jinli was waiting for the moving company to move things, she encountered a small incident. A low-key Bentley parked in front of the apartment. Jinli originally just glanced at it casually, but didn't take it to heart. However, a gentleman in a suit and glasses stepped out of the car, walked straight towards her, and stopped exactly 2 meters in front of Jinli. "Miss Bai," the man in the suit greeted her politely. Jinli took a careful look at the man, and saw that he had a calm demeanor and good luck. Obviously, he was considered a successful person among human beings. She flipped through Bai Jinli's memory and didn't know such a person. She frowned. "Do I know you?" The man in the suit smiled slightly. "Introduce myself, my name is Bai Yan, and we can be considered our own family." Jinli nodded. "Oh, then you and Bai Jinli are from the family." "But I am Jinli." Bai Yan. For a while, he was always at a loss. "What do you mean by what you just said? How can I understand every word, but I can't understand it together?" However, the heart is stunned and the heart is stunned. As a qualified and successful person, on the surface, it is natural to be indifferent to joy and anger. So Bai Yan still had a comfortable smile on his face, explaining his purpose. "Our husband would like to invite Miss Bai to meet." Jinli was a little angry, I just said I'm Jin Lee, why are you calling Miss Bai again? Bai Yan. He was as good as he was, Miss Jin Lee. Jin Lee was satisfied and rejected him. I don't know your husband, no. Bai Yan. He couldn't help but ask, Bai, does Miss Jin Lee know who our husband is? Jin Lee shook her head very cheerfully, I don't know. Bai Yan madly hinted, how many people want to see our husband, but if Miss Jin Lee does, she will have to fight for at least 10 years less in her career. Jin Lee was very moved and rejected him. There is nothing to be courteous, and it is either a traitor or a thief. She glanced at Bai Yan and asked, that gentleman of yours told you that he wanted to see Miss Bai, right? Bai Yan didn't think there was anything wrong with those words, and nodded. Jin Lee spread her hands, that's fine. What your husband wants to see is Miss Bai, what does it have to do with me, Jin Lee? Bai Yan. He stood stunned on the spot, feeling at a loss for words for the first time in his life. Jin Lee waved at him, I'm leaving, goodbye. Bai Yan glanced at her mechanically, with a dazed expression, bye. When he returned to the car, the driver looked at him badly and greeted him with some worry. Bai Yan wiped his face, looking a little sad, I'm fine, go see I'll ask Miss Jin Lee. Big pig's hoof, today is a day that is forgotten and rejected. Gao Lengzi, after reading the update, what? Crazy hint. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 17. Jin Lee didn't take that Mr. to heart. She could never have imagined that this gentleman was just yesterday, just when she came to buy Jin Lee, he fell on her with love medicine, and was knocked unconscious by a wine bottle. Of course, in fact, she had long forgotten about this less important thing. Currently. Top priority. I still have to figure out what channel to get that golden light through. At this moment, the well-fed Jin Lee was lying on the big bed of the hotel, using the computer and mobile phone to confirm his guess. At the same time, Bai Yan was standing in an office with a very cold decoration style. Lu Zhenjia, who was dressed in a suit and leather shoes, was dealing with things. Bai Yan didn't speak, and just stood there quietly. Until the other party put down the pen in his hand and looked up at him, where is the person? Lu Zhenjia's voice is not as clear and melodious as a young boy's, but has the magnetism of a mature man, and is as mellow and attractive as a long-lasting fine wine. The female white-collar workers in the head office have discussed how many times in private, Mr. Lu is perfect everywhere, and even his voice is so good that he can get pregnant. It's a pity that no matter how many beautiful women throw in their arms, let alone their hearts, they have never even moved their eyes. Bai Yan sighed in his heart, if he told others at this moment that the husband took the initiative to ask him to hire a notorious third-tier female star, no one would believe it. And what no one will believe is that the female star actually rejected Mr. In this world, there are women who would reject Mr. Lu. Mr. Lu, Lu Zhenjia, who is he? The head of the Lu family in the imperial capital. What does the Lu family exist? 200 years later, the Lu family was still a den of bandits. Later, the wife and grandfather of the Lu family suffered several losses of being illiterate, and pressed several of their sons to marry the daughters of the scholar family. The Lu family changed from savage bandits to literate bandits. Later, when the previous dynasty was destroyed and turbulent, the wife and master of the Lu family seized the opportunity and became the dominant warlord. In the decades that followed, both the black and white of the Lu family developed a huge power. Until the new regime was established, the old man of the Lu family made a decision that has affected the Lu family for decades and hundreds of years: retreat bravely. The Lu family began to transform from black to white. Career focus has also shifted from politics to business. When Grandpa Lu did this back then, many people laughed at him for being too cowardly and for losing the prestige earned by his ancestors in vain. Grandpa Lu never responded to these questions. Until now, the Lu family is still one of the most powerful and wealthy families in the imperial capital, and those families who mocked Mrs. Lu decades ago have long since disappeared. Time is the best answer. It will tell the world, who is wise and who is stupid. As the head of such a huge family that has been passed down for hundreds of years, Lu Zhenjie can imagine the energy in his hands. As the youngest son of the Lu family, Lu Zhenjie was able to surpass the elder sister and two older brothers and become the head of the Lu family. The means can be imagined. What Bai Yan said was not an exaggeration at all when he saw Mr. Shang Lu, and he had to fight for 10 years less in his career. When he heard Lu Zhenjie's question, he thought of Jin Li. When I think of Jin Li, I think of the suffocating dialogue between the two. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 18. Facing Lu Zhenjie's question, Bai Yan looked complicated. I'm useless, please don't move Miss Jin Li. Miss Jin Li, are you so affectionate? Lu Zhenjie stared at Bai Yan. Bai Yan. He quickly explained, Miss Jin Li doesn't let anyone call her Miss Bai. As he spoke, he repeated what Jin Li had said before. When he heard the sentence your husband wants to see Miss Bai, what does it have to do with my Jin Li? Lu Zhenjie, like Bai Yan, fell into silence. After a long time, he laughed softly. Interesting. This Bai Jin Li is completely different from the Bai Jin Li he saw in the information. 2. After all it is. Lu Zhenjie felt that the back of his head was still aching. After all, she is a woman who dares to hit her head with a wine bottle. It is normal to have a little personality. Bai Yan looked at his husband who seemed to be laughing very happily, and was a little scared. The last time his husband laughed like this was when he pretended to be his own father, Mr. Lu, and sent his two brothers to South Africa to mine, completely controlling the Lu family. When Jin Li didn't know that he had been targeted by a big pig's hoof, well, it was a big guy. She is using the trumpet she just registered to dive in a well-known forum with huge traffic. Mainly open and own-related posts. Half an hour later, Jin Li had a profound insight into what is the queen of black material. In this forum, 80% of the posts related to Bai Jin Li are all kinds of smashing, breaking news, and black fans gathering posts. The remaining 20% are mostly passers-by fans who come for her beauty, and the rest are the few loyal fans of Bai Jin Li. Jin Li focused on the words and photos sent by those fans. Then she found that there were no fluctuations related to the previous golden light. Could it be that her previous guess was wrong? Isn't that golden light emanating from someone close to her, something similar to the power of faith? Jin Li patted his face a little depressed, but immediately reacted, and touched it distressedly. Such a beautiful fairy face cannot be beaten. Not even on your own. Just when Jin Li's thoughts were just broken, suddenly. Jin Li's eyes widened suddenly. She saw that there were strands of golden light that had passed through all physical obstacles and came to her side from a faraway place. The light fell on her gently, and her whole body seemed to warm up. This is the same thing as the golden light that was uploaded by the previous little girl. Jin Li's eyes lit up, she quickly closed her eyes, and began to meditate. She has to find a way to find out the source of these golden lights. After a few minutes, Jin Li opened his eyes. She took out her mobile phone and opened her Weibo account. Countless pieces of IT and news immediately flooded her. Bai Jin Li's Weibo was previously managed by an agent, which is more convenient for the company to manage, and can also prevent the artist from posting some inappropriate words. Bai Jin Li's Weibo records are basically street photos of general tasks, as well as publicity about the company. The number of fans is 10 million, and the zombie fans who paid for it probably accounted for more than half of them. In the remaining few million, the number of black fans far exceeds that of real fans. And among these true fans, the passers-by who follow them casually do not know how many. One sentence summary, Smokey. Congratulations to our male protagonist who finally got a camera today, Hwawa. Hashtag although it is still being forgotten by the brain mother hashtag. Ask for tickets every day. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 19. For example, now, Jin Li casually glanced at all kinds of it, and sure enough, it was a large amount of abuse. Don't say too many words like spicy chicken. Bai Jin Li, get out of the entertainment circle. When Bai Jin Li saw these things in the past, he was afraid that he would be angry for a long time. Speaking of which, Bai Jin Li's girl is also giving up her mind. She clearly knows that black fans will come to scold her every day, but she can't help but go to Weibo every day. It's fine if she has a good mentality, but even if Bai Jin Li has been in the circle for a year or two, she still can't bear it when she sees someone who scolds her, and still wants to be angry. So since entering the circle, Bai Jin Li has been angry half of the time in the past 2 years. When she gets angry, she can't control it. When facing fans and reporters, she always likes to say something not very smart. So, hack yourself. Can't really blame anyone. Jin Li has something important to do in her heart, and she is not in the mood to pay attention to these trolls. She directly ignored the abuse and found the source of the golden light. When she saw the source, she was stunned. This is a very familiar Weibo. A blogger is an ordinary person who has only a few hundred followers, but has a Weibo comment and retweet far exceeding the number of followers. It was the little fan Jin Li met at the door of the company during the day. Jin Li looked at the group photos, and the golden energy in her body trembled slightly, indicating that these things have a lot to do with these photos. And the source of golden energy. Jin Li clicked on Weibo to comment. What kind of fairy luck is Miss Blogger, even squatted on my pair? No matter what others say about our Jin Li, with this face, I can still fan you for another 10,000 years. Passing by and being attracted by the photo, although Bai Jin Li's acting skills and character are not flattering, but her appearance is indeed good. I exploded this prosperous beauty, I feel that my pair has reached a new level of beauty today. This is a beauty filter with 8 Baidu, right? Who can't make a picture, a Sao can make a beautiful girl. Is Bai Jin Li back with plastic surgery? Where is it done this time? It's quite real. Some red eye keyboard warriors are enough when they look good, they say they have plastic surgery. PS I'm sorry, my pairs are pure and natural, and I have been beautiful since my debut. Hee, some pair fans can only blow the face of Bai Jin Li. After all, your steamer is really useless except for one face. Bai Jin Li has any new works recently? Hurry up and fry. Jin Li turned all the way down, and slowly discovered that those golden rays of light were born from the comments of those fans who praised him under this Weibo. But not every fan's comments are in it. After reading hundreds of comments in a row, she finally came to the conclusion that this kind of golden energy that can be absorbed by herself can only be born in those words with sincerity and sincerity. In other words, these people are probably their own diehard fans. These people generate these energies only after seeing their photos and commenting on them. Moreover, only today's Weibo has this golden energy. In the past, Bai Jin Li's street photos did not have it. Thinking about it too, under the photos of Bai Jin Li in the past, they liked Bai Jin Li. Not her, Jin Li. Today's third update, plus a new chapter, to celebrate the success of the signing. 3 to 4 chapters of the stable day will start tomorrow, and no accident will be maintained at 4. The update time is still the same in the early morning. Well, continue to ask for recommended tickets. Acridine. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 20. Jin Li thought about it, re-registered a Trumpet account, and used Bai Jin Li's account to promote it. Morning Star Bai Jin Li v. the contract with the company has been terminated. This account will be discarded. I will use this account in the future at Jinli is a koi acridine. Fans who like me can pay attention. Even if zombie fans occupy the vast majority, her attention is far more than most people. Soon, there were many comments under this Weibo. What's the situation? Did I terminate the contract with the company? What is the situation when the number is no longer used? Jinli, will you continue to produce works? Has Chen Xin finally stopped raising a waist like you? Jinli posted this Weibo. In addition to making a declaration, she also wanted to verify another idea of her own. There are many loyal fans under this Weibo, but Jinli did not feel any golden energy. She thoughtfully logged out of this account and logged into the trumpet that she just advertised. But in a short period of time, the attention of this Weibo account has reached 4 digits. Jinli took 9 consecutive shots for herself, and looked at the results again, and found that her beauty was perfect no matter what angle she looked at. So she happily uploaded the photo on Weibo. Jinli is a koi acridine V. Hello everyone. Carrot. Starting today, I am a brand new Jinli. To emphasize, the full name, Jinli. Call me this later. After she posted, she patiently waited for the reactions of netizens. Soon the following new comments were refreshed. Fan A, okay, Jinli, what are you doing? Fan B, although I don't understand the meaning of my peers very well, but who cares, it's right to suck the beauty of my peers. Fan C, is it my illusion? I always feel that my peers have become beautiful again. He's a D, oh, what kind of tricks by Jinli is playing? Do you think your old black material doesn't exist without your surname? Jinli picked a few and replied, and also attached the emoji that she had recently collected. Reply to Fan B, no problem, you just need to pay attention to my beauty sane and strong JPG. Reply to Fan C, with vision, I also think I look better than before. You are really a little clever ghost JPG. As for those sunspots, she didn't bother to take care of them at all. Those who have no vision, can't appreciate her beauty, it's simply their loss. As expected by Jinli, golden rays of light began to appear one after another under this Weibo. Jinli held her mobile phone, sorted it out in her heart, and finally determined, those golden rays of light are really only emitted by fans who really like her. This power is similar to the power of faith, but it is not of the same nature as the power of piety. All in all, a positive, harmless energy. And there is no doubt that this energy can be transformed into her divine power. It's just that this golden energy can only be produced when fans see herself, photos, and, by extension, maybe videos, etc. In other words, it must rely on some medium that can see her appearance. Mere words can't do it. After Jinli wanted to understand, she automatically concluded, that is to say, these human beings must see my beauty and indulge in my beauty in order to generate this golden energy. It can be said that the summary is quite flawless. After thinking about it, Jinli fell into a new sorrow. Alas, although I found a way, these golden energies are really too little. What she needs is a vast ocean of energy, but what a fan can bring, not even a drop of water. Must, somehow read. Let more people see my beauty.